Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second last day, the penultimate day of the Nanyang Championships Chinese qualifiers. We have got Tongfu taking on CDEC.Y. We're down to just 4 teams. One of these teams getting eliminated in this match. Then following this match, we've got the lower bracket final where the winner will be facing off against Team E-Home in a do-or-die situation, where the loser of that match will also be being sent home, and we'll be down to just 2 tomorrow for the grand finals. IG taking on your lower bracket victor, one of these 3 teams, CDEC.Y, Tongfu, or E-Home, to join that grand finals. But we've got a best of 3 here, CDEC.Y versus Tongfu. I'm Gods, and joining me for today's broadcast, none other than my good friend Winter. Are you ready for some good Dota, Winter?
Let's go.
Let's go. I agree. We've come ourselves a bit late into the draft. We had some issues and hiccups with XSplit, but everything seems in working order now. So I apologize for missing the start of the draft, but we're here now. Winter, what do you make of things so far?
Very standard. Remaining. What's new?
What's new?
Lina,
not much.
Lina, Dazzle, I'm dying.
Yep.
I mean, Dazzle, I think it's we didn't see the hero being picked up in the first place for the whole event. I think for this game, however, Dazzle has been given a lot of priority, and we still see the Earthshaker for CDEC.Y. I'm actually quite surprised they didn't actually ban it though. I feel like it's one of their best heroes that's on the support position. They play the support Earthshaker very well.
Alright, well, we'll see Shadow Fiend picked up as your mid-hero for Inflame, I imagine. Saw his Invoker yesterday, which had a rough start, a very rough early game. Fell behind a lot, but was still pretty high impact as we went further into the game. For now, though, Tongfu retaliate. On the Dire side, they pick up Templar Assassin. Great hero to have on that Dire side with the easy access into Roshan. And their Roshan fight control with the Winter Wyvern is looking fairly impressive right now. Surprised they didn't go for something like a Darkseer though. I mean, the Darkseer Winter Wyvern combo just such a threat.
I think because they are going to put Lina as a support. It seems like they want to run Tusk plus Lina and then Wyvern roaming and protecting one guy. So if they pick Darkseer, then their lineup is a bit maybe lacking in physical damage. They want to have more physical damage, I guess. That's why they picked the TA. So I don't think they can fit the Darkseer into their lineup anymore. They would actually more or less likely want to have another carry that outputs physical damage.
Well, we'll see the last couple picks come out for CDEC.Y. Almost certainly the offlane already picked up in the Undying or the Earthshaker. They're looking for their safe lane farmer. Tongfu, similar story. Both teams yet to really pick up their farmer for the safe lane here. So we'll see what kind of teams start digging around for, since a lot of the big ones are banned out. PL Gyrocopter, of course, being the biggest 2. Ember Spirit, another popular safe lane farmer. We've seen Storm Spirit in the safe lane as well. What do you see that's left that really stands out here, Winter? Tinker was not what I saw.
Yeah, if you're looking to group up and fight, I mean the idea behind the Tinker ban is CDEC is looking to push with Undying, because they already showed that Undying is a core position hero. So when you run Undying as a core position hero, you just want to group and fight and keep pushing. So you don't want to face a Tinker. You don't want to get split push. So I kind of feel like the last hero they're going to pick is either going to be Juggernaut. Maybe not so much Juggernaut because of the Cold Embrace, but Juggernaut would fit well because he has the healing ward. Or another good example would be like a Luna. A carry that just keeps pushing and you want to group and just take towers. Okay. So I think that's the direction that CDEC are going to look to go for.
Well, Luna banned out now, so options get slimmer and slimmer for the 2 teams. But yeah, the Jug
pushing.
Oh, Slug is there.
Pushing carry. Okay, Slug is not exactly what I had in mind as a pushing carry, but it adds another type of dimension into their draft. So in case their push doesn't work, they still have a fairly good late game, because Slug and Shadowfiend together late game is still quite potent.
And they had nothing for the refraction of TA, so they've now got the Dark Pact of Slug to at least burn down the refraction instantly, whereas previously there was nothing whatsoever.
So what do Tongfu go for here as their carry? I kind of expect it's a carry
Bloodseeker.
I don't think...
Do you think you can put it...
Bloodseekers, yeah.
It's
Bloodseekers quite good against Slug. Against Slug is very good. And you can kill the Tombstone very quickly.
Yeah, especially if you drop your silence around the Tombstone, the other team isn't going to want to protect the Tombstone, because otherwise they take the blood right damage as well as the silence.
Yeah,
so
it's quite a good idea. I like it. And you can blood rage your support Lina to Laguna summon.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
I think Bloodseeker is the one here that stands out for me. Whether that's something Tongfu want to play or they're eyeing off as another mana. They're going to go Clinks though. That's a good hero for bringing down the Tombstone. Struggles a bit in the lane against the Undying, and we'll have to see if CDEC Youth are going to go for like a dual lane in the off lane, because that's where Clinks can be punished. And we've seen most teams against Clinks running dual lanes or offensive tri lanes just to try and pressure the Clinks early on. But Tongfu did win with this hero yesterday, so maybe feeling confident they can do so again.
I'm not sure if they can do it this game though, because they have Shaker support and Slug needs help against, say, Tongfu lane, Tusk plus Lina on off lane. Slug definitely needs the Dazzle there. They can't really do Dazzle plus Undying to disrupt the Kling's farm like you mentioned. I mean, they can still do that, but it's going to come at a price where their Slug is going to... You're basically taking a trade. You're not farming your Slug and you're trying to limit the opponent's Klings. So I'm not sure about that, because I feel like a more farm Slug would actually be better, because if you talk about under farm Slug versus under farm Klings can still output damage with Death Pact, whereas a Slug without items can't really do too much.
Alright, well, we'll see exactly what they have in mind. Tongfu have done something I didn't necessarily expect out of them. They've put Faith onto the Tusk, so we may be looking at a support Tusk and Lina more as the farmer in the offlane, as it seems to be the case here.
I think it's okay though. It doesn't really matter too much. I think both of these heroes, either one taking farm is fine, but I would also stress on the point where I think Lina with more farm is actually much stronger. Tusk only needs levels. It doesn't... I mean, obviously Tusk with a blink early is also good, but Lina I feel can do more with early Aghanims or even a use.
Alright, we'll introduce our two teams here in our opening game one of the best of three. There's not going to be any score indicator as it is still a bit buggy. We're going to see CDEC Youth on the Radiant side. AIM going to be playing the safe lane farmer, the Slark. Demons going to be playing the support Dazzle. Icy on the support Earthshaker. Mid lane will be Inflame on Shadow Fiend, and that leaves June in the off lane playing Undying. Winter, what's Tongfu doing?
Tongfu has their Xingqiu carry player on the Klings, and we have LPC the drafter on the Wyvern, UU9 on the TA, Faith on the support Tusk, and lastly, alright, who's this guy? I can't remember his English name.
That's for you.
His Chinese name is my teeth is very pain now, help. I have toothache.
He has a toothache.
Who's this guy? Yeah, who's this guy?
This is ooh, that's a good question.
I remember seeing him from yesterday.
I'm having brain farts right now. Let me see if I can.
Oh, bingo.
Oh yeah, bingo, of course. Yeah, the bingo in the off lane. ZX bingo. With a toothache. He's changed up his in-game name, it looks like. I guess he's done being bingo for now. So we'll see how things develop here. Shadow Fiend gonna be taking on TA mid. Looks like CDEC Youth for the most part are gonna roam the Shaker, whereas Tongfu are running like more dedicated dual lanes here. So we'll see Shaker help out the safe lane a bit, help out mid. But for the most part, Undying will be on his own here in the off lane.
Yeah, this is kind of what I expected. They needed to help the Slug with the Dazzle. Can't really put the Dazzle with the Undying. So the Klings will pretty much get, I think, free farm. I don't think the Undying can do too much here against two heroes. He's still going to get his levels, but I don't think he can pressure the Klings too much. Whereas the Slug at bottom, he might still have some trouble even though there's like two supports in the lane point. Tusk and Lina can still deal with three heroes in the lane.
Yeah. I'm surprised to see Slark go such a defensive skill build. Like, I play this hero a bit and it seems you wouldn't want to go Skeleton Walk when you're in the safe lane against just a solo hero. Like, you don't need this spell until much later on, I feel, typically, as it clinks.
Did he use it to try and snag the bounty rune? I didn't see.
They got the top rune regardless. It was TA getting the top rune and Shadow Fiend getting the bottom one, so...
Ah, okay. So that's weird.
Yeah. Like, you can even, like, the way which I've seen, like, Fear play it and Arteezy is, like, you don't even get Skeleton Walk until level 4. You go Searing Arrows level 1, and level 2 you get Strafe, and you try and... You can potentially set up a kill with, like, a Arctic Burn, but... Going for a more just defensive laning-oriented build with the Skeleton Walk for now. LBC's got a haste rune for mid. Uh-oh. This is trouble. Inflame looking like it could be a potential first blood. TA with the meld... Oh, not the meld strike, just a refraction strike. Gets the kill. Bit of an unlucky haste rune there. And Winter Wyvern with a very quick rotation towards mid.
This ward, you know, he doesn't spot what rune spawn. That's why he died. The ward they had here?
Yeah.
If it's a bit to the left, it would actually spot what rune was actually there.
That's a
That's why
funky
he
looking
couldn't. There was no
board.
time to react. Yeah, there was no time to react, right? Because when he saw the haste rune, it was like too late already.
Yeah.
He's running up, and you're just basically screwed. If you can see what rune is there, then you can play safe to get ready.
Well, slight misplay on the ward perhaps, because yeah, putting it a bit further to the mid lane doesn't really give you
it's kind of
any...
weird, right? If you put a little bit to the right, it doesn't give
It's
like
a
too much on
tiny
the
bit
right
of
side.
extra high ground vision, but it's so marginal. It's definitely not worth not seeing what runes are picked up at top. So that's the difference
that
between
was
a
huge,
kill or a no kill. So that's quite a big early game shift based on just a very small little detail.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened if the wall is a little bit to the left. I say shouldn't, but maybe it might still happen, but it lowers the risk a lot of the Shadow Fiend getting ganked if he knows what rune is being picked up. So overall, it's gonna give him a disadvantage in the lane, but Shadow Fiend always doesn't worry too much about starting at a disadvantage. You can still catch up.
Yeah, as a hero, great at catching up, farming jungle stacks and flash farming. T similarly can do the same though with the ancient stack, so it's not like U9 is under pressure to dominate the early game, although he has got the early game lead for now on Shadow Fiends. As it stands, June, forced back to base, has reached level 4 in this offlane, so he's gotten a decent chunk of experience up here. It's Pounce in bottom lane, they've hit the Lina with it. Demon's now going to fall with a Poison Touch Shadow Wave. They've got this kill, and down goes Bingo. Tusk was off getting the 4-minute rune, and CDEC.Y used that timing and that knowledge that Tusk was going for the rune to their advantage.
Yeah, that was a very good play there. The ward didn't see, because they had a very awkward ward here, but it still gives them enough info on if the Lina had backup behind, and they knew it was 4 minutes, so the other guy, usually how you play is the other guy goes for the rune. And you actually have to play much safer there, but still credit to CDEC using that timing to their advantage.
And getting the Poison Touch as well, not often a spell you see on Dazzle, especially in like a defensive lane, but wanting that, make sure they get the kill with that little bit of extra damage. And just committing the 1 skill point doesn't really cripple your build whatsoever. Just normally you don't have any use for a Poison Touch.
Yeah. All your mana is basically the heal, the grave, and your weave. Because Dazzle generally doesn't have you don't really want to get into too close, to the enemy, because Poison Touch has a very short cast range.
Inflame, down to 20 HP in this mid lane again. Has a fissure behind him, I think, just to save his life there. His TA is level 6.5, so traps have come into play. As Icy drops his sentry partially to de-ward a high ground observer ward, and also to deal with any traps that could be used to set up kills on this Shadow Fiend mid.
Yeah, this is actually very important whenever the TA reaches level 6 against SF. SF has to bring sentries to the lane to avoid getting solo killed. Bottom lane, they're going to go in.
Yep, another Pounce is going to hit it. Demon's so in trouble. He pops the Graven himself, and here's June. Shows up with the Tombstone. Demon needs to back up soon. Gets a Soul Rip. That's going to heal him back up, and now Faith is overcommitted to this one. Gives away a kill to aim. The Sigil gets brought down as well. That's another 90 gold going their way, and Icy, he's got a fissure. Gets the block as well. Great placement onto the lean. It doesn't get the body block. Otherwise, that would have been an even easier kill. But here comes Shadow Fiend. 1 raise 2. Hits them both. Undying gets the last hit with a punch to the face. And that's a level 5.5 Undying. Finding another kill for the team. Great early game rotations from CDEC.Y.
That was a very unlikely rotation from offlaners, but it was a really good one. Turned the tides of the fight. Definitely for his team. That's why you always want to have TPs. Yeah. You can help your lanes,
CDEC.Y does manage to push down a tier 1 tower nice and early, much faster than you normally see tier 1s drop, but that's kind of making use of the space that the CDEC.Y rotations have given him personally. But 1 tier 1 tower is not really, to me, a worthwhile trade for all the kills they've given up and the momentum they've given to the Undying as well as the Shadow Fiend. So we'll have to see what else the Clinks can do. Now that he's level 6,
but he needs to roam. It's gonna depend what he does now, because I think he can actually just go for Rush.
He's got the medallion.
He can go for Rush now. Get level 7, go for Rush. I think they can actually sneak it. There's not much vision around right now.
It's no points in meld yet. Gone for 3 in side blades. Very
this is the
focused on range.
The skill build to farm the ancients though, but there's still no ancient stacks for him.
Yeah.
And the Earthshaker is there going to scout out any ancient
well,
stacks.
That's a dead looking Earthshaker. A trap or two and he's done for. He's got no TP to escape. He's gonna look to hide, it seems. Medallion is there. Klink's on the high ground. Doesn't get the last needed right click. He did pop the strafe and everything, but imagine Icy knows he's dead yet. Walks into a creep wave. No way out for the Earthshaker. He's just spending all his money, and Klinks will just be finishing him off by himself. So not wasting the TA's time chasing as well. Poor Icy. He's got a fissure again soon, but he won't get there in time.
Yeah. He already spent all his gold anyway, so...
Yeah.
And he wasted... I think he wasted so much time off the Klinks as well.
It wasn't too bad in the end. He blocked the Ancients as well, which, like you said, they haven't stacked yet, but they definitely were planning to do so fairly soon.
Yeah, just look at the TS build is just mainly for clearing ancient stacks. You don't go too many points in it unless you want to clear the ancient stacks.
For now, Slack just going to pick up some treads. It looks like AIM has just gone for a treads, Aquila, Poor Man's Shield, all these basic early game items. We're not seeing a Midas rush or even a Midas whatsoever really on the horizon. Oh, Klinks from the high ground. I think he may have seen that smoke. Icy as well as June head towards the bottom lane. I'm not entirely sure if Klinks had vision or not. We'll see how Tongfu react. It looks like for now, the Earthshaker Undying trying to make something happen. The Undying is level 6, one creep away from level 7, so it's a good time for them to go for this move. And Klinks is still wasting a lot of time. He's been constantly roaming since hitting level 6, but has not found much apart from that Earthshaker kill.
You talk about the slot not going a Midas. Yeah, I think this game is not a good game for Midas though, because the Klinks will be roaming and looking to fight a lot. I think it's better for him to go for more stats heavy items early on. Just go for early game items and just fight with the Undying.
They're just going to drop the tomb. It's a level 4 tombstone, so you can't really run into this very easy. Klinks is there and may look to focus it down, but Sorup's available, as is Fissure, so they can look to protect this. Fissure comes out now, the Sorup as well. Klink's going to keep right-clicking away, and without a creep wave, it looks like CDEC.Y decide, we don't really want to tank a tower. Let's just back off, and again, Klinks has been forced to rotate. This is not a Klinks that's getting a whole lot of farm, but is helping give some room for his teammates. Winter Wyvern's got some farm as well as levels in the top lane, so Winter's Curse is now available. And we can see what Tongfu can do out of this. Just kind of spreading the wealth for now.
Yeah, the Klinks is just, even though he's not getting kills, but he's still like pressuring, you know. You're gonna force the opponent to get sentries on their supports. And you give a free lane, like you mentioned, to the Wyvern, which is gonna be very helpful in team fights when he has all her levels up. Mid lane.
In flame, he's being jumped here, and that's the power of that medallion. No meld strike whatsoever. Now he finally levels it at level 9, and SF just gets taken out, and now it may be June as well. Winter's Curse from the higher ground with the Arctic Burn. June gets slaughtered by the physical damage of this Klinks and TA. These two working so well in tandem with the medallion and the high base damage from the refraction, as well as the Klinks having the searing arrows. And as a result, they'll get a tier 1 tower at mid. And you talked about Roshan maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago, but now it feels like they actually will go for Roshan now that they've taken out some of these towers.
Yeah, they can definitely do it anytime they want to. They have superior map control. I think the TA just... usually you want to place your traps around here against the Shadow Fiend, the 2 camps as well. It just gives you a lot of information. But talking about Roshan, they can just go anytime they want to. Whenever they feel comfortable though. You want to go at a timing where you don't give up too much map control when you dedicate your resources towards going Roshan. Because you want to go with the TA and the Klinks right now. Since the TA doesn't have that, so it's going to take a long time, so he needs help.
And if Klinks goes, it's like the Klinks for now has been the one applying pressure across the map. So it's, like you say, you're losing map control because Klinks isn't pressuring lanes, isn't threatening to get kills. Now CDEC.Y going to just respond with some aggression of their own. They group up towards mid, are looking to pressure the tier 1 tower, but very hard to push into that Splinter Blast especially. There's the Ice Shards which can be thrown out as spam. There's the Dragon Slave. There's a lot of good long-range AoE nukes coming out from the Tongfu side.
Yeah, it's very difficult here unless you need to make a smoke from behind, you know. You go from behind, you kill someone first. It's just like basically how you deal with the Keeper of the Light. You have to smoke and go behind and kill the Keeper. Otherwise you'll be wasting a lot of time trying to push from the front.
Yep. Bottom lane, Slack finds both carries of Tongfu down here, and it's going to be CDEC running into Klinks here. Have they got detection? Oh, they smoked and everything, and they just run right into an Invis Klinks and get nada. That was... Like you kind of talked about, they want to find that smoke so they can run into the heroes, take out, like even if it's just the supports, you take out Winter Wyvern Lena, suddenly you can push a tower because you don't have to deal with that long-ranged harass.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But feels like Tongfu definitely finding their footing here in game 1 of the best of 3.
Yeah, this is not looking good for them. Now, Tongfu have a lot of map control. They place a deep ward here. They have traps around the middle lane. They have very good vision around the map, you know. And the Klings, with the Klings roaming around, they have a lot of intel on what CDEC is actually doing around the map. They're just taking everything very slow now and just trying to get their items. They're not rushing to go for the rush. They're just basically controlling and suppressing the space that CDEC have.
Middle tower is under attack.
Oh. In mid lane, Klinks is going to walk into a sentry ward here. Inflame pretending he doesn't notice. Now they're going to throw the fissure. It's going to miss for one thing. And, okay, there's the dust. That was a disaster. They can't kill Xingqiu. He's got death packed up. He's sitting on 1100 HP. In fact, he's the one chasing. He throws a couple right clicks on Ice. He needed one more. He was just short of the kill. Still dusted. That dust is about to wear off. And where's that secondary dust? They haven't got one. Oh, man. That was some Cirque du Soleil action coming out from the CDEC youth side. Definitely entertaining to watch, but very clowny.
Space created.
Yeah. Well, space created for LPC to maybe get caught out. Nope, no disable to stop his TP. Just the Slark. Dazzle approaching as well, but no actual lockdown there.
Dude, Klings was placing wards like a bounty hunter.
Oh, is he the one who
placed his
warded?
ward.
Oh, he warded up top, and I'm not sure if he put the one in the
Yeah.
Radiant jungle, but that's one way to play your Klings.
I mean, he's already moving around in the enemy jungle, so why not? It saves your support time, you know.
And you can
And
get
the
much
support you can't really...
much better wards down undetected. Like a support could be just wandering past wards and you get spotted going in, but a Klinks can stealthily move in. Well,
Yeah, I talk a lot about you want to use smoke to go in, but if you can do it with a Klings as your core position, it's gonna be helping the support so much. You save on the smoke and you save on a lot of time, because Klings moves around faster than the supports.
well, they're going to go for this team on bottom tower. June pops a tombstone. He's got a TP scroll if he feels he needs to get out of here. His team are taking the top tier 1. So for now, feeling like they can maybe defend this bottom lane, as June has dropped the tomb and everything. But he may find himself somewhat lonely as he TPs away and decides, yeah, this is not happening. My team have prioritized the top lane. SF has completed a mech, so I believe they have got the mech advantage. Yeah, no mech in sight for Tusk or Winter Wyvern actually has picked up a headdress, but still has some ways to go. Oh, mid.
Yeah, they're gonna have this mech advantage for quite some time though, but I'm not sure if they can do too much about it. It's still difficult to fight head on onto Tongfu right now, and Tongfu are just basically trying to defend the tower as well. They took the bottom one, tier 1 tower, and they're gonna be able to defend their tower at top.
Well, they know there's no Undying here. The Undying was just sent back to base. They want to try and fight this, but U9 in the front lines has been isolated. He's going to be brought down. No, he gets snowballed in. He's still alive for now. He's got a Cold Embrace as well, healing himself back up, but the razors start coming to play. He goes down, as does Faith. They've lost 2 on the Tongfu side, only taking out the Slark. They'll lose a 3rd to a nice raise from Inflame. He's on a triple kill. He's looking for more. Takes out the Sigil, has a fissure to back him up. Who's he going to go for? Will it be the Klinks or the Lena? Decides to go for the Klinks, but they've lost detection here. Demons is playing Ring Around a Rosie. Doesn't want to get caught out himself as the Grave's still on cooldown. And Klinks, I think realizing that he doesn't want to take some raises to the face here, backs off and waits to maybe re-engage as he does see Shadow Fiend TP out. Icy at the same time. Oh, barely makes it out. Klinks needed one more right click and didn't quite have it. That was without the Undying Winter.
They didn't even pop the mech at the start of the fight, so Slug didn't get mech'd up. Because the SF were like stuck at the corner there.
Not a bad result for CDEC. And you can see the power of their group 5-man. Like, I mean, without an Undying and everything, just dazzle Shadow Fiend, really, doing the brunt of the damage there. And Slack, the Dark Pact able to just instantly burn through Refraction, really paying off as well. TA with Desolator only is just fairly squishy right now if you can take off Refraction.
Yeah, I'm still quite surprised they didn't try to go for the Aegis yet, you know. Their lineup is supposed to be able to get a free Aegis.
Oh, they'll do it now,
they
Winter. They'll do it now.
They should have done this a long time ago, like a few minutes ago. It's really crucial though. They took a fight against, like what you mentioned, CDEC having superior group up heroes, but they didn't take the fight with what their lineup is supposed to have, the Aegis.
Well, It's a Desolator and a double damage rune on U9, so I'd be shocked if they don't try and quickly go into the pit and take Roshan for themselves, but we'll see what they have in mind here. For now, grouping up towards mid, Lena's picked up a Yule Scepter for the team, so they've got that strong initiation coming out there. I imagine they may even pick up a secondary Desolator with Xingqiu already having a Mithril Hammer. And a lot of people talk about, like, oh, you don't want two Desolators, they don't stack, but these heroes can operate very independently, and the item is just still so cost-effective. They're going to catch Inflame with a Winter's Curse. He gets brought down, or does he? No, he gets healed back up. He mechs himself. He gets Grave. Great defensive support play coming out from the CDEC side. He's going to get off the Rec Room and everything. A dying Rec Room as well does some additional damage. Echo Slam from IC onto U9. They want to bring down the TA. Can they do it? A second Refraction will keep U9 alive, but not for long. He's dead. 3 dead now on the backlines as Lena just throws a dying Laguna Blade. AIM is just cleaning up with the help of the Undying. 2 for 3 trade. SF just tanked so much damage that fight, and Tongfu couldn't bring him down during the Winter's Curse.
Yeah, that was just a really good, even though with a really good curse, they still couldn't win the fight because CDEC are just way superior now with their 5-man. And CDEC once again, their lineup, even though very strong at 5-man, but they're not supposed to be fighting against a Tongfu lineup that doesn't have an Aegis though. I think their lineup is just built so much on getting the Aegis and taking a fight, the early first fight with an Aegis advantage. But without the Aegis advantage, it's always difficult for them.
Well, Tier 1 tower going to fall to fall. Splinter Blast does some good damage, but won't find any kills, and Slark can easily heal that back up. Similar story with a Dazzle in theory. As here comes Klinkso looking for some cleanup. Are they wary of this? They may be soon if the Slark gets found here, but he's got a Blink Dagger. He picks up early fighting item. You talked about going for these early stats and just items that allow him to take on a Klinks who's roaming around a lot. Well, he's done just that. Drums and Blink Dagger. This is kind of exactly the build you were talking about, Winter.
Yeah, it's a kind of game that you want to keep fighting with your team because of the Tombstone. It's just mainly you want to play around the Tombstone. You don't want to be like split up and farming too much. I think it's a really good choice because their lineup lacks an initiator, and with Slark having the Blink Dagger, he can actually blink and start the fight for them. Because Earthshaker is just really far away from. It's just the way they play the Earthshaker. It's a very position 5 base Earthshaker. He doesn't get too much of farm, and he just roams and drops a fissure. That's all he does.
He's even got the urn for the team, so he's looking to get a little bit of extra survivability. He has no like Soul Ring or Arcane Boots, so his mana regen is limited to the Magic Wand charges and a slight bit of mana regen from the urn. Here we go, Blink Pounce. U9 gets caught out, goes for a Shadow Dance here. U9 pops out now with another Refraction, but Dark Pact will quickly burn it away, and Slark gets another kill. They're stopping that Roche from happening. Using the Tombstone on the high ground, they're looking for more as far as kills go, but Klinks for now gets back to safety, and it will be CDEC in the Roshan pit. Defensive weave and a Tombstone on the high ground. Tongfu have lost the Roshan. They've got no TA. I don't think they can fight this one.
Yeah, I don't think they can do anything at all in this Roshan pit.
Oh, Blink to the high ground. AIM wants to stop the Tusk making any kind of sneaky little plays. He's going to run away from the Snowball. As Faith, he's kind of coming back to the Roshan pit. It almost looks like he wants to try and steal this one. The Winter's Curse from the high ground. Here comes Lena from the side. They're going to get one kill on the Undying. Can they get the Shadow Fiend as well? Does not look like it. Roshan, one hit from dead. Enflame finishes it, picks up the Aegis. Demons barely kept alive by a Grave. He'll heal himself back up. 2 Lena right clicks will not be enough. SF drops the Requiem, and Demons keeps himself alive off to the side. Klinks too worried about going in, and that looked like a potential great initiation from Tongfu. They hit the Winter's Curse. They had Lena coming in from the sides, but the Ice Shards was kind of blocking the pit there, and they couldn't actually get in there to contest the Aegis pickup. And Inflame now happy with an Aegis and even a BKB coming out on the Courier. This is looking really good for CDEC Youth all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's the reason why I felt they should have gone for the Roche earlier. Like when they have their levels, it's kind of hard when CDEC can contest, you know, because their lineup allows them, when you don't use your lineup to get the Roche like this, and you give it away to the 5-man team, it's just so detrimental towards their lineup, because they can't really fight before. Now they can't fight anymore at all with the Aegis, so they can only delay and try to speed up the map with the Ice Shots and Splinter Blast.
Well, CDEC Youth still geared up to go for this tier 2 mid if they want to, but for now, they'll back off a little bit. They are missing June, who's dealing with the split push of the Klinks in bottom lane, and Klinks decides BKB, not Desolator, so not going to get that second Deso for the team. And I think with how these fights are going, it almost feels like he needs that defensive item. The Fissures, the SF Requiem, just the nuke damage coming out, even from heroes like Slark, is starting to become a problem for the Clinks and his ability to fight into the CDEC Youth side.
Yeah, but he's still not doing enough damage though. Not sure
No.
though.
And he can't split
actually
push.
thought
It
that
feels
he-
like Tongfu may just need a split push at this stage because of how bad things have started for them.
Yeah, but the BKB, like you mentioned, would probably allow him to split push much safer. Because you can actually escape from the slug. If you
Yes.
split push without BKB against slug with a dust can actually kill you.
Yep.
He just jumps on you and the TP comes in, you're still gonna die. So I guess the BKB is gonna help him with that. So he's gonna be able to split push much safer, and we'll see what he builds. He definitely needs to build a damage item after that.
Yeah. By this stage, Deso is going to just not be quite as effective as heroes start getting tankier, and there's a lot of armor. I mean, there's a lot of armor, which means you say, oh, we should get a Desolator, but we'll see. Maybe just straight into something like an MKB or a Daedalus as a damage item.
If the fight comes too soon, you might even have to consider just finishing up your Solar Crest though, and just go to the fight. Because
Yeah.
Evasion is still really good versus Slug and
Dire's middle
Shadowfiend.
tower is under attack.
Depending on how the game is
And-
going though, if the fight really comes too soon, you might not have a choice.
Yeah, it's coming right now. Tier 2 tower goes down, and potential to threaten the high ground. CDEC, they've got a medallion completed on Demons. He can look to apply that to his teammates. Plate Mail and Glimmer Cape on Undying in the front lines. He's tanky as hell, and yeah, it's coming right up to your high ground base, but the nuke damage, whew, Tongfu immediately burned June down, and it really feels like they need a pipe on the Radiant side with how much AoE nuke damage is being thrown their way. Just the Dragon Slave with the Splinter Blast with an Ice Shards is a creep wave dead, and all the heroes that get hit by it taking like 600-700 damage.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that the Undying, he has went for a more armor and survivability item build though. He went for Trankles because there's a lot of physical damage this
Yeah.
game. He doesn't have enough mana to sustain himself.
When you see their lineup and you think, what's going to kill us? It does look like physical damage is what's going to kill you. You've got a TA and a Clinks on the same team. There's not normally
Yeah,
lineups you
but-
deal with that much single target physical damage, but to push, it's not the
But
single
it's
target
like-
damage you're worried about.
It's like everything changes depending on how the game is going. Right now, the team, you have to build your items on what your team needs.
Yep.
If you need to push right now, you need the pipe. I think the pipe is necessary for them to push
Yeah.
with the Aegis, and no one else on his team can actually get that item. I mean, Desert is fine to get that item, but he's not going to get that farm anywhere soon.
It does feel like instead of the plate mail, if he'd gone for the pipe, CDEC would
Maybe
be in a
even
better position to end the
maybe
game.
even no Glimmer Cape though. If he would
Yeah.
have known the game would become like this.
We're going to go in with the Winter's Curse, aim at bottom lane. Can he get the Shadow Dance off? No chance to do so. Nice little gank there. They smoked for that. They also Winter smoked underneath an Observer Ward. That ward deep near the Tier 3 tower, they smoked right on top of that from what I could see, and it still leads to a kill on Slark, so the smoke works. Somehow.
He was just too cocky, I guess. Or
Yeah.
maybe they didn't pay attention to what was going on.
Well,
But
that's-
overall, the smoke actually gave them a lot. They placed a ward here and they got a kill, which means it delays the push for quite some time. And they get like a lot of vision into the enemy jungle. So this is really important when they want to split push with the Klings or the TA. This Klings, what the
Dump-
heck, man?
he saw all those heroes next to him. There's a fissure. He
Yeah,
needs to
fella.
BKB the fissure. And okay, it's not for a while, but he's fast enough to run away
That
from
was
him.
such a risky play though. He might have died if the fissure after the fissure the Earthshaker was able to get another stun on him.
If
would
he had
have
a
died.
blink, like you got to
Yeah,
be
you don't know
expecting a
that.
blink soon. Yeah.
That was such a ballsy play. He didn't even see the Shaker, you know. The Shaker was like out of vision. So he didn't know for sure that the Shaker doesn't have a blink. That was just a very risky play. In the
Wow.
end, it worked out for him, so he bought some time, but it's not much. If he died there, it would have been so bad. I think if you weigh the risk and reward there, it wasn't worth it, even though he got away.
So for now, Tongfu just slowing things down, and it is dead even on the team net worth as well as experience. We're looking at a very close game one here between the two teams as far as what the graphs show. And we've seen CDEC Youth attempt to break high ground and not even coming close. Although it looks like they will find a pick up here on LPC. Winter Wyvern, not so fortunate there, and feeds away a kill to Shadow Fiend, who has a SMY coming out now. So item pickups It's happening on both sides for the cause, but more so on the CDEC Youth side. Their two carries are decently ahead of TA as well as Clinks, although Lena is kind of in the picture and well ahead of the Undying, her counterpart. We're looking at an Aghanim Scepter coming up on Bingo fairly soon.
Radiant's top tower.
I mean, that's kind of expected, right? Undying can't really farm. He just relies on team fight to get goal. So he's going to fall behind against Alina eventually. It's just that how much you use your goal to purchase what items that your team needs, you know. As far as that is concerned, I think the team really needs the pipe a lot.
Oh, they're going to lead with the Fissure. They've caught the Clinks out in that one. He's going to BKB afterwards. In Flame being focused here. He needs to mech up. Doesn't do so. Just goes for the BKB Requiem first. Now he's going to look to mech up afterwards. Takes out Tusk with him. Loses the Earthshaker on his team in the process. And got to use that mech, dude. He does do so now as U9 blinks on him. He's got this double damage. This has been the difference maker this fight, but it's not going to keep him alive. Purely offense, and he's a bit of a glass cannon. Goes down without a BKB. TA blinking in as aggressively as he did. A recipe for disaster as Slark just dark packs away the refraction, and then everybody finishes off the TA from there. Now the T2 in jeopardy.
Surprised they started to take that fight though. They wanted to take that fight. Because they can't really fight head on anymore.
I think it was entirely because they had a double damage rune on TA, but doesn't entirely justify it.
Yeah, he still he killed the Earthshaker. It was also because of luck, you know. The Earthshaker got stuck by his own fissure plus the ice shards. Otherwise, he wouldn't have killed the Shaker. So, I think it was just a very, a very risky play in general. If you fight outside against the Tombstone, it's very difficult for them to win right now without, like you mentioned, they don't have BKB on the TA as well. Only a BKB on the Clinks. And the Clinks isn't dealing enough damage at this point of the game. He needs to get a damage item. Not sure what he's going to go for though. Maybe the crit, or he finishes the Solar Crest. I can see these two options for him.
He's probably waiting, like, if SF or Slark builds Evasion, he'll go for the MKB, but otherwise the Daedalus is better right-click damage. So he picks up Demon Edge.
Evasion? Do they have Evasion?
Neither has Evasion. It's more if they do get Evasion. Or there's a Solar Crest on Dazzle, which is not the case, because Dazzle picks up a Ghost Scepter for now. Uh-oh, LPC. Seen this one before. He gets off the Winter's Curse this time. In Flame. Starts hitting his buddy there, and it looks like LPC will go down. Completely left to die. Caught out in no man's land, and Winter Wyvern goes down once more.
This is really bad though. He's like the main guy to defend their high ground.
Yeah. One of their big long-range nukes. They drop the Tombstone now for starters. Inflame immediately mechs as the nuke damage comes out. They've got the jump on Lena though. If they can kill Lena, it means there's no Axe Laguna Blade. Not to mention no buyback on this hero. Oh boy, they may have just broken through what looked like a tough-to-break Tongfu high ground defense. All from the start of a Winter Wyvern pickup, and then the jump from AIM. This Blink Dagger on Slark has paid off in spades, as AIM now is going to help bring down the racks. More importantly, in Flame, just tanky as ever on the Shadow Fiend, just pelting away, and there's nothing Tongfu can do. This is the first lane of racks going the way of CDEC Youth.
They're going to be able to get the next Roshan as well. This is looking really bad for them. I don't see Tongfu coming out to contest this with the Lina down for another 14 seconds. It's going to be really quick with the Medallion and the Shadow.
And as much as Tongfu aren't really good at fighting, it does still feel like it's CDEC Youth just executing better.
They're not checking the rush. Okay, I thought they would check the rush. They just walk back. Okay, they got really lucky there. Now Tongfu has the opportunity to kill the rush because they can kill the rush easily.
It feels like Tongfu just lost their axe there without even using a fight or using any of their heroes. Like, they found an Axe on Lena and they don't even get a chance to use it. They don't even get... we haven't seen them get to use the Tusk this entire game, really. And that's where it feels more than anything CDEC Youth are just out-executing Tongfu rather than their draft or overall team fight necessarily being stronger. Because that was just 2 pickoffs in a row leading to a lost Rax.
I think the most important point is the Roche, though. They didn't get the Roche. I felt like their lineup is just built to get the Roche early so that they can actually... so that the Tusk can do his thing, so that everyone else can do their thing, you know. It's just very hard without the Aegis. Because if you look at just based purely on lineup, what Tongfu has is about getting the Roche, they're on dire side, and then they use the Roche advantage to be able to split push and fight. Because they can't really fight into the Tombstone.
I like what CDEC were doing there. They were trying to bait out Roshan. They're just sitting near here. Look, AIM's position is such that he could get... Slark has great night vision, unlike any hero in the game apart from like Night Stalker and
And
What?
Y1 with the Arctic Burn.
Yes,
on.
Y1 with Arctic Burn, but they were just using that to sit on their high ground while Slark scouted out the river. Unfortunately, it didn't lead to anything, but I mean, at least to a Roshan, so...
I mean, they know that's the last play that Tongfu have to actually win the, like, come
Yeah.
back into the, to have a chance.
Try sneak into Roshan by any means, but Slark can now blink up to the north. What's he doing up here? He's kind of got himself in a bit of an odd position. They've got the tombstone down as well. He comes in on the back lanes, goes in on U9, who does have a BKB. They're trying to force it out. Meanwhile, the Winter's Curse helps bring down the Undying to start the fight. Then they move on to DMT. Does not get a Grave off. They've lost their supporting cast. Inflame will use the Requiem. Still a chance for CDEC.Y to take this fight. They want to get U9, whose BKB will be wearing off soon. I see Ghost Scepters to keep himself alive with a fissure. That's a dead TA. Who's next in line? AIM is just cleaning up here. You may have lost your supports, but you've got no answer to the Slark here. Laguna Blade's already been used. Nice. Blink in from Earthshaker. Gets a totem, and it's a triple kill for Inflame. It started off going well for Tongfu. They got the first couple of kills, but it was no way near enough. It didn't matter. And it will be the gem restored to the hands of CDEC.Y as Icy picks it up. And hey, they say, let's just go straight for the high ground. That's 4 dead, and we've now got a second lane of Rex that we can potentially look to take out here. Earthshaker will run into Clinks, doesn't really care because he's got a gem and a Ghost Scepter. And Clinks can't do
It's like,
anything.
sup.
Yeah,
Bottom tower has fallen.
they give each other a little high five and then just run on their merry way, their various different directions.
I mean, you look back at the game as Tongfu. I think it's just about... I don't think they did too much of a lot of bad mistakes. It's just the Roche part was really crucial. I felt they
Yeah.
had to find... I keep mentioning it, you know, it's like... But it's just what their lineup is built to do. They have to use their lineup to their advantage to get the Roche. If they don't get the Roche, they can't really fight into what CDEC have. CDEC has just too much 5-man with the SF and the Tombstone.
One last hurrah. Blink Warriors punch. Inflame just tanks up the damage. Ice sees the target for Clinks initially. Not sure why he's going for him. Inflame may be the better target despite having an Aegis. He can't Ghost Scepter up. He then takes out the Tombstone, but that's his BKB and strafe duration. Now he's got limited damage output. U9 on the front lines can go for Ice now. The Ghost Scepter's still on cooldown, but what U9 doesn't have an answer for is the right-click damage of Inflame and AIM. He's down. Slark with 96 stolen agility is just unbeatable right now. Slark played a fantastic game, and CDEC.Y take game 1 away from Tongfu. You talked about Roshan. The other thing I feel like they just didn't do was farm all that. Like, you had Clinks roaming around, which is great, but it almost felt like he maybe roamed too much. They never stacked the Ancients for the TA. It just feels like CDEC.Y were a bit more efficient, and Tongfu didn't play the farm game.
I think the roaming is like fine though. Like it's the way you want to play the Klings because he wanted to give a lane to the Y1 to get his level 6 and level 7, whatnot, more levels on the Y1.
Yep.
And he wanted, even though he wasn't getting too many kills, I think he only got 1 kill, but he was applying a lot of pressure. And they needed to sync it up with stacking of the... I think the Ancients is partly the TA's own duty to actually stack Ancients, because most of the TA players nowadays, they stack the Ancients themselves. Sometimes you rely on the support, but you can't really rely on the supports too much because based on how they're playing this game, the Y1 is given a lane, so he's going to be sitting at top. The task is always with the Lina on the lane, so they want to pressure the Slark. So they are not really allowed to stack the Ancients. They don't really have much time, to stack the Ancients based on how they played the game. So I think the TA has to do it herself, or it's just no Ancients for him. But it still came back. I think the biggest point is the Roshan. They need to get the Roshan as... They could have gotten it maybe like at minute 8 or minute 10. They decided to go for it at like only at minute 18 where CDEC had their levels and they had the mag and they could just come and contest, So I think that was a big part of their downfall this game, not getting the Aegis early enough for their team.
And it felt like the last pick Slark really fit well into the CDEC.Y lineup and was a great way of dealing with TA, Clinks, and just preventing a lot of the aggression from coming out from these two, and also just having a carry that couldn't be ganked, because it felt like a lot of the time Tongfu were looking for pickoffs using the roaming Clinks, so Slark really just tied everything together well.
And his item build as well this game was really good. He built into the stats, whatnot, which was what I talked about during the game, but essentially after that he built into the blink, which is, I think he realized the team needed him to be the first move hero, since Shaker is the position 6 or whatever, just buys all the wards, and Dazzle was getting a lot of items this game. So it was the right move for the Slark to actually build the blink this game. And like you mentioned, it paid off in the game. He got so many crucial pickoffs because of that.
All right, well, we're going to game 2. We're going to see if Tongfu can turn it around, if we're going to head to a game 3. So far, all our best of 3s have gone to 3 games, so if you're a betting man, chances are it could be headed there as well. The Nanyang Championships Chinese qualifiers continue soon after a quick break. Stay tuned.